Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie and this is the Let Me Introduce You series. The Let Me Introduce You series is where I introduce you to authors that are new to me, my favorite authors, and authors that I think you guys should get to know and read some of their books. At this time, let me introduce you to Katie Richards. Katie, can you explain or introduce yourself to us?
Hello, Stephanie, and thank you for having me. I am Katie Richards, and I write the West Investigation series for Harlequin Intrigue. I've been writing it for about a year and a half now. My fourth book is debuting in a couple of weeks. I'm excited about that. The West Investigation series is about a group of brothers who run a private investigations and securities firm, and of course, just based on that, they're get themselves in a lot of trouble. But they're a fun group of guys, and along the way, hook up with strong women who are not taking their alpha male maleness lightly, and they end up falling in love and saving the day and all that great stuff. So. Yeah,
That's
great
awesome.
series. I love writing it.
So, taking it back to the beginning, when did you realize that you wanted to be an author?
Oh gosh, from the beginning. My mom teases that since I could talk, I was telling stories. So even before I could actually physically write. But I think my first story that I wrote was when I was 11 years old. Wrote it for a school assignment. And had it for a long time. And somewhere along the way in one of the moves, I lost it. So I'm still hoping I trip up or find it in a box somewhere. But I've been writing for a long time and wanted to be a writer for a very long time. And then, as life does, took me a couple different places before I got back to that.
That's awesome. So West Investigations is a romantic suspense. Are you strictly in the romantic suspense lane, or do you write in other genres or subgenres?
I also write in just the thriller lane, although they tend to have some romance in it, but it's far more focused on,
Oh, gotcha.
So you don't have a lot of time to stop and have the romance, but there are hints of romance in my thrillers as well.
So are you traditionally published, independently published, or a hybrid of those publishing?
I am traditionally published for the most part. I was published in an anthology, which I don't think is in publication now. I had a short story that was 100% thriller, no romantic suspense, bordering on maybe a little bit of horror. So if you do have that anthology, don't expect any romance. It's the opposite. But for the most part, all of my book-length novels have been traditionally published. Harlequin, and then I have an ebook that's the thriller that I was telling you about that has a little bit of romance, but it's more thrillery.
Okay, so are you a reader as well?
Oh gosh, yes, I love reading. It's my favorite hobby, pastime / work thing to do, because reading is kind of work for authors as well. Yeah, no, I mean, you're much more likely to catch me reading a book than like watching a show or going to the movies.
Ooh.
Or, even, just being outside. I'm the kid that had a book in their hand all the time.
Okay, so do you read within the same genre that you write in?
I do. I love mysteries, thrillers. I love romantic suspense. I love just romance. It doesn't have to be romantic suspense. Rom-com. I've tried my hand on that and writing a rom-com, but it is hard and it was not good. No, I have so much. The rom-com authors who have to do romance and be funny with it. I just that they're amazing. It's not me. So I love reading those books, and fantasy. I love fantasy
Hmm.
novels. Jennifer Armentrout. There are lots of. I mean, there are tons of fantasy novels out there that just blow me away, and that's also another area where I would love to maybe come up with something one day, but it's hard too to create a whole new world that's just interesting and the characters and everything to go with it. So all of those guys are amazing. All of those authors are amazing.
So is being an author your full-time job, or do you have something else going on? That's
Yeah, no. I'm a mom, so there's always something else going on. But but being an author is my full time job. I'm lucky that I was able to transition from practicing law. I did that for 15 years, and then we moved to Canada, where we live now, and that's my husband's native country. That's where he grew up, and I thought, let me take a shot at this, writing things, see what happens before I go out there and try to find a job in the legal field. And I was fortunate enough that Pursuit of the Truth was purchased by Harlequin. So yeah.
okay. So many authors are lawyers first. Do you find that helps, or does it play into your writing of stories at any point?
Yeah, I mean, in the West Investigation series, they're PIs, right? So they're always kind of trying to solve a crime, and it's similar to, at least on the law enforcement side, police. Although I purposely chose Private Eye because I didn't want them to have to be as constrained as the police officers are. Or to be like rogue police officers doing whatever.
Right.
So this way they have a little bit, not that it sometimes is not totally legal, but at least they're not law.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it helps to kind of know, at least when you're about to do something in the book that's not 100% kosher in the real world. Like you probably should not follow some of their actions. But and then just the technical writing side of it, lawyers do a lot of writing, and you have to write and be clear about what you're saying. So it helps. It's a different kind of writing. It's not as technical as writing in the law, but some of the skills there translate.
Okay, so West Investigations, how did this come to you? Was it inspired by real events, or was the theme of their investigations business just something completely made up?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's completely made up. I have no background whatsoever in private investigations or security. The first thing that came to mind, and for Pursuit of the Truth, which is the first book in the series, was Nadia, who is the female lead in that book, and she is a hotel owner. And so one of the things that I kind of dreamed of as a kid, in addition to being a writer, was owning my own hotel. Mostly because I just wanted to live in a hotel. I thought, oh, this would be cool because, maids come in, they clean up after you. You go to them. As a child, I didn't realize that is not what happens when you own the hotel. So obviously, as I got older, it's it seems like a lot more work. Not exactly what I want to do, but the idea sprung from that. From having wanted to own my own hotel at one point. And so Nadia is a hotel owner. She owns a small chain of hotels in Manhattan. And she finds herself, without giving too much away, in a sticky predicament. And her security firm is West Investigations. And although they are hired to, install cameras and, make sure the hotel is safe, when she finds herself in trouble, they step up to help her.
Okay, so I will say that when I first read Pursuit of the Truth, right off the bat, your spicy level is just chef's kiss. because the tension between our two characters just jumps off the page. Even from their first meeting, you feel this like spark. Um, how do you feel, or where did you get sort of the inspiration to add that spice level when you're traditionally published? Was it an easy sell for Harley Quinn to pick that up, or did they have you sort of move it around?
Well, the intrigue line goes from mild to medium, they say. So that's medium. That's what they. So the originally my editor was like, that's medium. Well, if you read the Desire, then yeah, I like spicy. So,
I do. I like Desire too. Woo.
They're spicier.
Yeah,
they can be spicier. So that's medium for Harlequin. I did. My editor did initially say we might need to tone it down a little, and then she came back after reading it a second time and said, it's fine. It is something we thought about, and I do think about, like, is this going too far? And I do rely on my editor to go, maybe we should tone it down a little, because as a reader, I do like a little bit spicier. I'm on the spicier side. Sometimes I really need to tell. We don't need to say that much. Just right. And sometimes the characters dictate for me too. So if you have a really conservative character, I do think about, do I want her to be conservative in life, but excuse me, but really to let it all loose in her love life. Or if it could be the opposite, right? She's very, very outgoing, but a little conservative. And that will sometimes dictate too, whether I dial it back. And I don't think I've ever done a closed door love scene, but maybe the love scene is a little less because the temperature in the book overall, the characters have dictated that they probably wouldn't want you to say all this.
Okay.
So it will depend. They're not all as spicy as, some are spicier than others.
That's a great way to put that. Great way. Because I mean, the tension was like I said, crackling from the beginning, from the very beginning. Just that first picking her up after she sort of gets trampled scene, and then him taking care of her.
I love that.
It wasn't even like it wasn't a sexual scene, but the tension between the two of them, it was just like jumping off the page. I was like, oh, okay.
That's one of my favorite scenes that I've ever written in all the books. But Ryan is very sort of button up, tense kind of guy, very serious. And when he loves hard. So he kind of has that sort of, the intensity is always around him. And to some extent, Nadia is too. And they both have that, I wouldn't say unrequited love, but they've both been crushing on each other for a while. So that it's been slowly building, right? So when they're together now, it's almost like, just admit you love each other. Yeah. Everybody can see it.
Yes. And like in Christmas Data Breach, your couple was married and now they're not.
Oh, yeah.
They're thrown back together and you're just like, why did you split up?
Yeah, they have a different kind of explosiveness because they know each other. They exploded, but they still love each other. They still want to be together. They have to get over themselves, really.
Yes. Yeah. So what made you choose thriller and romantic suspense to write in when there's so many subgenres?
Yeah. I love thrillers. I love mystery, the mystery of thrillers. Who did it? Why? What's going on? Right there's suspense built in, right? You start a book and you don't know what's happening. So that was one that I knew. I wanted to write something that was very suspenseful. And I like romance. I like that, which also has its own kind of suspense, right? You know they're going to get together. That's a romance promises you in the end they're going to get together. But how are they going to get there? What are they going to do? How many times I'm going to throw this book across the room because they're like, just talk. You know what I mean? Get it together. But I want my emotions to be engaged. So that's kind of why those two work for me. And I'm a little bit, I can get for me, I can get bored a little quickly. So when you're kind of bouncing back and forth between the romance and the mystery, that helps to keep me engaged because it's not just one thing happening. So that, I mean, so it's really all about what I want to read.
These are the books that you want to read, and you obviously know that there's going to be readers out there that want to read the same thing that you do. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm. Like I said, I am loving. So, just a little history of me. I normally stick to just romance, but then I can't remember if you pitched your book to me or if I happened to see it on NetGalley. Somehow or another, we ended up connecting.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll give it a chance. And after I read Pursuit of the Truth, I was like, I'm done. Give me all the books. Give me all the West investigations. And I started like stalking all your backlist and like looking for all your books and stuff like that. So I was hooked. You did an amazing job.
Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that.
This like extra. And like you just said, I don't get bored easily with just romance, but that extra suspense that I was just like, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
Was just subpar. It was just mwah, chef's kiss.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So how do you deal with including diversity within your stories?
Yeah, I mean, so the main characters are always African American. Well, I shouldn't say always. There's at least one main character that's African American. And that's just something I've committed to because I want to see more romance, more romantic suspense in particular with African American lead characters. So that's, for me, I've committed to that. And then I just, my world is not one that is only one group of people. So and to some extent, it comes naturally to think about, okay, well, what is happening around these people? They live in New York City. So you're gonna see every type of person with every type of every possible, combination of whatever you can think about walking down the street in New York City. So I just try to remember. I lived in New York for a couple years. I try to remember what that was like and infuse that into New York, into my fictional New York City.
So how do you choose your locations? Because you have all three books are located in New York, right? Except for one's in New York City. Then you have two that are upstate or rural New York, correct?
Yeah, right. Yes. So the first one's in New York City, although they do go to Atlanta, but they come back. They live in New York. The West Investigations is headquartered in New York. So they generally kind of start off there or end up there or calling there or going there for some reason. The other, Missing at Christmas, is in a fictional New York City town about an hour and a half away from New York.
Right.
So that one's a little more, still a city. It wasn't a small town, but not New York City, not Manhattan. And then the third is we do hop over to New Jersey, back and forth between Jersey and New York. We're back in New York. But, I picked New York because I knew it. It's easy. It was easy to set it there because I try to stay away from saying that this place is in this we're on this particular corner because you never know if the store's still going to be there by the time you get or if you get it even slightly wrong, people will tell you. But I we're on the Upper West Side. We're on the Lower East Side. I would give you that. And all of the stores and all the hotel is fictional. I say that in the acknowledgement. So don't go looking for house. None of that, Sean and Ryan's bar. It doesn't exist.
It's a amalgamation of different bars that I've been to in New York.
Exactly. I want you to get the New York feel, but it's my New York. It's not real New York. But so that's kind of how I picked that. And then the fictional cities I just make up. I love that. That's just fun. You can put things exactly where you need them. You don't have to worry about people saying that that's not where that store is. Like, well, that's where it is. That's what I say. So I enjoy the fictional place too. So it's pretty much, I like New York. That's why I put New York.
So tell me your perfect writing atmosphere.
Oh gosh. I really can write just about anywhere. I took my kids to the arcade the other day, and they were playing, and I was writing on my phone. So it's just like when the inspiration hits me, it hits me, and they know. They said, we asked you if we could have some more money or something, and you were writing, so we just went about our way because you didn't even look up. I don't think you knew we were there. It's like you're right. I have no recollection of this happening. When I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. But at home, I let you have my office. It has a nice little bay window overlooking the backyard. Recently got a standing desk, but it's automated, so I can like press a button and it goes up and down. And I didn't even know it existed, but my mom found it for me, and I was like, I love this desk. So I have my little setup the way I like it, and I most of the time, especially when the kids are in school, that's where I write, and I try to keep a very like a traditional work schedule, 9 to 3, because the kids come home, and then I will work as needed after that, but it's a little more hectic when everybody's in the house. But yeah, so really just anywhere. I love writing. So
it sounds like it. So are you a pantser or a plotter?
I'm a plotter. 110%. I have outlines. I have summary scenes of summaries. I have, sketch dialogue. I think it through for a day or two before I sit down and write. So yeah, it's 1000% planned.
Nice. Yeah. Alrighty, so I'm gonna make you pick one of your books. Okay.
Okay.
What format would you want it in a movie, television series, or limited series? And which book would you pick and fan cast it? So it's kind of like a combination question. We can take it bit by bit if you like.
Yes. Well, I think if we do a series, I could do them all. So that appeals to me. You choose them all and make them a series, because I do love all the brothers. They all have their own personality, and I like them. I like it when they're in scenes together, because they're very brother-like. They're very much siblings, even though they're all very much is. They still mess with each other, tease each other, and pick with each other. So I'm gonna cheat a bit and say I'm gonna pick series, so I can do all of them.
Alrighty, so pick one of the books and give me a fan cast.
Okay, I have to be honest with you. I have no idea what a fan cast is.
So a fan cast is when you choose sort of your main female character and your main male character based off of what actor or actress embodies those characters the most.
Oh, okay. I got you. I've done that a bunch of times. I never knew that was the name.
That's what it was called.
Well, now I know.
Yeah.
So my most recent one, really.
Okay.
Shooting Her Son. I would love to see Taraji P. Henson play Erica Powell, because I think she is just a very strong woman. She's also got she also can play a woman who has secrets very well. So I love her. I love that actress. And then I would cast James West is the male lead in Shooting Her Son. I would cast him as Shamar Moore, and specifically in his newest I think it's CBS show as it's SWAT, or I think it's called.
Okay.
They're like that version.
Okay.
Because he's James is former military, kind of serious, but also has a soft side. And I think it just that those two actors could embody the characters very well.
Okay, I am here for that. I have not. I'm covering my face because I have not started shielding her son yet, but because my week went a little hectic on me and got away from me.
It happens all the time.
Because I had wanted to read it before this interview, but I didn't get a chance to. But it is slated to come up shortly.
Totally understand.
So now that I have these two actors in my head, that's
picture them.
That is
you
what
tell
I
me
will
if
be
that
doing.
works for you. If they work for you.
Definitely. I will have to let you know. Okay, so 3 things. Are you a sweet, spicy, or salty sort of person?
I am going to say salty. I'm being honest, right? You want me to be honest.
Of course.
I'm a little salty. I think salty kind of embodies sweet and spicy at different times, your level. But yeah, I'm definitely a little salty.
Oh, that's hilarious. Good pick though. I'm gonna have to include this question more often because I loved your reaction and your answer.
Initially, I was like, you could say sweet, and then I was like, everyone who knows you is gonna be like, she's just lying.
Oh my goodness. So, what are your thoughts on book signings and book events?
I love them. I mean, I'm usually nervous before them. Like many authors are like, they're just gonna come and tell me how awful it is, or worse, nobody's gonna show up. I'm just gonna be sitting there sadly by myself. But I love them. I haven't had many really because of the pandemic. I debuted during the pandemic, so I just recently, back May, had like my first signing, and it was so exciting. Have people actually come up and want me to sign their book.
That is a good part. Do you have any coming up in the near future, or
Any
for next year, maybe?
Next year, yes. I don't have dates, but definitely we'll have some for next year.
Alrighty, I'll be stalking you for them. I mean, I'll be on the lookout. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Alrighty, so Katie was kind enough to give me her favorite number, and I picked 3 random questions. So please don't come for me if these questions are wild and off character, okay? I have not looked at them yet. They should bring good laughs. I haven't had too many that were like real crazy, but never know. Hopefully you're not the first. So, who would you most like to sit next to on a 10-hour flight, and why?
Oh gosh, nobody. I would hate to be on a 10-hour flight, but that's it. If I had to pick, I mean, to be honest, I would think like the president or something, because I'm stuck with the person. I want to be able to tell
which president?
Biden.
Oh, okay.
Because I would want him to be trapped, and I'd want to tell him everything, all the things that I would like him to hear, to change, to do, to the good, the bad, the ugly. I was raised in Washington, so politics is what it is. Even though I try to get away from it, I'm still like, well, what's happening? To find out what's going on. So the part of me would want to do that. I would definitely want to bend the ear of somebody who had the power to make some drastic changes. That would be great. Yeah.
I love it. Alrighty. Would you rather, oh gosh, I'm having issues even saying this one, be covered in bees or spiders?
Oh gosh, what is awful.
I know.
Spiders. Spiders. You know why? You just like triggered. Like, you have just triggered like one of my worst fears. There's something about swarms. I don't like swarms of anything. But there's something like swarms. They're like, you know that feeling you get when the nails on a chalkboard? Mm-hmm. I get that same feeling when I see swarms of anything.
Wow.
So I really don't like them, and bees in particular. Like, it's something about a swarm of bees. So I don't think I could do. I think I would like run screaming from either. But spiders are a little less nails on a chalkboard than bees. Yeah, you know.
See, I'm the opposite. Bees would be the lesser of the two evils.
I can't.
Yeah.
Well, you know, individual bees, I'm okay. But if you're like covered, I just can't. Even the thought of it makes me right now. It feels like nails on a chalkboard.
So beekeepers, you
covered in bees. No.
See, I have that feeling with spiders. I can't look at them on television.
Really?
Yes, my son thinks it's the funniest thing ever to send me that app where there's a spider on your phone screen.
Yes.
He thinks it's the most hilarious thing ever. And I'm just like, oh.
That feeling is awful. Whatever does it for you, bees, spiders, whatever, it is horrible. It is horrible. I don't wish it on anyone.
I know, right? Not at all. Not at all.
No.
And last question. When were your parents most disappointed in you? I don't like this question.
I don't even know. I honestly don't know. I was not the kid. I was the kid who literally would wait and see all the other kids would be doing stuff, and I'd be standing over to the side, see, let's see if they get in trouble for that.
You were the temperature checker.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to do anything till I know I'm not going to get in trouble. Like, that was the thing for me, was like, I want to avoid trouble at all times. I don't ever want my parents. So, you know, my mom, if I can't remember my mom ever saying like, oh, I'm very disappointed. That would have been crushing. That would have been worse than any punishment. So I don't think I have anything, because I don't think I really, you know, it's a sad little childhood, but I don't think I have anything.
No, not necessarily. I mean, it's just a safer way. Yeah, it's a safer way. Hey, it happens.
Yeah. My brother is like, you're so pathetic. He was the one who was like, I'm just gonna do it and see what happens. He was like, let's just go wild.
He's the ringleader.
Yeah, he was always starting in trouble. You know what? Okay, I'll say one thing we did, and we got in trouble for. We got in a lot of trouble for this. My mom had left us in the car. The car was running. This is back in the day, right? Back in the early 80s. Yeah. But she got run into the convenience store, and we knew better. We had no business doing what we were doing. Mm-hmm. My brother dared me to shift the car into out of park, and I did. And the car started rolling. So they were like, oh, now what? Because first of all, nobody's in the driver's seat. So even if we could, like, luckily, like, we were way too old for this too. We should have known. We knew better. Luckily, a couple men saw the car was moving and there was nobody in the driver's seat, and so they like got behind it and my mom ran out. We got in a ton of trouble for that though. That was the worst. She did. I don't know. She didn't say she was most disappointed, but that was the worst punishment. We got in a ton of trouble for that.
Yeah. The things we did back then.
Yeah, as well we should have, right? As well we should have, because I think I might have been 9 and he was 7. We knew good and well.
Yeah.
I don't know what possessed me that day to take the dare, because normally I don't. My brother would dare me to do all kinds of crazy things. I'm like, no. I was the physical one that like kept us alive. And he was the one who was like, let's do this stuff. But that day, I don't know. It just came over me to take the dare.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that story with me and us. And thank you for sharing all of your thoughts on writing and being an author. And I'm looking forward to this new book. And I'm just so happy to have found your writing, and just big
That makes
thank
me
you
feel
for
so
it.
great. I'm so glad there are people out there who love the books. I'm so happy and honored that you're taking time out of your busy schedules to read the books, and I hope I'm doing you proud and you're finding it's worth your time. You know, a few hours a day that you read read my stories.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, everybody, that was Katie Richards. Like I said, I will have her website and the books linked down in the description box so you guys can go check them out. We didn't really mention during the interview, but they are in the Harlequin Intrigue line. And that line, you usually can read those books in probably a day. They're just under 200 to 300 pages. They're amazing little quick reads. And during the interview, I hope you guys saw that Katie brings the suspense and she also brings the romance. Definitely go check out the West Investigation series. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. And all of the information is down in the description box. Thank you guys, and I will see you in another video. If you